gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for August 4th, 2022 for the next hour or so. Let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, you shouldn't expect a new Switch before March, and the Steam Deck is big in Japan. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa from Giant Bomb, everybody. Jan, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
That's me. I am terribly sick. I'm infected, Jeff Grubb. I'm infected.
You got a sickness?
Yes, I've got a sickness, and I'm getting down with the sickness. And the sickness is Fortnite. Turns out it's a good game, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I'm just waiting for the Naruto skins to roll around. So much so that I looked at an article about the frequency of skins, and I kind of hate myself.
Yep, I've been thinking about it too. I was like, I'm probably going to end up buying this battle pass. I more than likely will not be able to play it enough to get Darth Vader, but it's a nice thought. And then when like the season's about to end, maybe they'll convince me to spend a lot of extra money to unlock all that stuff. I installed it on my Switch, and yeah, I do intend to like play it more frequently and stuff. It's cool how it like has all that cross progression and things like that. People should watch Oops All Seen Us. It's available now, right? Yes,
available now. Abby Russell pretty much carried our team with you, me, and Dan. But I think we had a time of our lives.
Yes, that's how I would describe it. It goes my wedding day, Fortnite, the day my children were born. That's how it is now, everybody.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
very good. All right, before we get into this mess, let's talk about what we do here and explain ourselves. Each weekday, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news, the catch-up, where we discuss the biggest topics consuming the lives of gamers everywhere, and maybe even bring some of our own original reporting. I'm halting the show right now, Jan. I'm just going to do one right now. You want me to just do one right now?
Oh, whoa. Unprecedented.
It's not even on the rundown. It's because this one's so stupid. They're making a Killer Klowns from Outer Space game. There you go, everybody. Yep, there you go.
All right, everyone. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Go do with that information what you will. There you go. Enjoy your life. Yeah. Yes. It's an asynchronous, like one of those asynchronous horror games. I think 3 players play as the clowns, and then like 7 people play as like people running from the clowns. We'll see it soon. We'll see it eventually. Like, and then the next month and a half or so, we'll see it. Okay.
Why?
Hey, I don't listen. It's like I'm pretty sure this is real. It's rumor. It maybe doesn't end up happening, but I'm pretty sure this is real. So, and to answer your question, why? I don't know. I think
okay.
I think at a certain point you just got to look at the IP bin and you got to pull something out. And sometimes you pull out Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Wow. All right. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will join me to make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. Hello, Twitch. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Tencent seeks to raise its stake in Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft and become the single largest shareholder. This comes from Reuters. I said it right this time, Jam. I got it.
Is that how you actually say it? I thought always pronounce it Reuters.
Yeah, I pronounce it Reuters. Actually, I know it's Reuters. I listen to NPR, everybody. I know when they like, this comes from Reuters.
Oh.
I think it's Reuters. Reuters?
All right.
Yeah, okay. Now chatting with messing me up. Who knows? China's largest social networking gaming firm, which bought a 5% stake in Ubisoft in 2018, has reached out to the French firm's founding Guillemot family and expressed interest in increasing its stake in the firm, the sources said. It's not clear how much more Tencent plans to own in Ubisoft, which is valued at $5.3 billion, but Tencent aims to become the single largest shareholder of the French company with an additional stake purchase, 2 of the sources said. Tencent plans to buy a part of the additional stake in Ubisoft, the maker of blockbuster Assassin's Creed video games, from the Guillemot family, which owns 15% of the firm, 3 sources also said. Tencent could offer up to 100 euros per share to acquire the additional stake, 2 of the sources said. That is a pretty extreme premium. Right now, I think the share price is at 44 euros. and 100 is like pretty close to its top price ever of 108 euros, which it hit in 2018. So yeah, I think Tencent sees a chance to kind of come in and become the biggest shareholder and basically become the controlling interest in Ubisoft. I don't know. I kind of think this is probably going to end up happening. The Guillemot family, there's Yves and his brother and his son. His brother and his son, I think, have recently left that company, left the publisher. It's kind of just Yves on his own, although I'm sure those the family interest still has a lot of those shares and whatever. Still, though, I think that they might be sick of trying to figure out Ubisoft. For a long time, it was, let's try to fight off Vivendi's trying to come in and take us over. We're going to fight them off, and now we're free and clear to figure out our future. And then they immediately stepped on 7 rakes, and now here, in terms of, having a terrible culture, a toxic workplace environment, and then also putting out game after game that is sort of listless and seems like they're just drifting. Do you think that Yves Guillemot is just going to pull the parachute now and hop out and let Tencent give him a bunch of money?
He loves Mario and Rabbids too much. I don't think he'd do it.
Yeah, that could be. That's the thing that would keep me tied to it down, right? Yep.
Yeah, unless more stuff about the culture of the company gets out, and that is just more incriminating information, I don't see him immediately pulling out and just giving it all to Daddy Tencent. But I feel like it actually is a possibility, depending on how let's say the rest of the year for Ubisoft goes. Because what even is the rest of the year for them, other than Mario and Rabbids 2? Mario
and Rabbids 2, and then I think they're gonna have that next Assassin's Creed sometime early next year, or maybe late next year. But that seems pretty far out. So that's not later this calendar year. They don't have a ton.
Yeah. So
that's right. They have not Sea of Thieves. What's the other one? Skull and Bones. That's coming out this year, right? Yeah, there you go.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. That's coming out. I mean, unless they make another random Tom Clancy game that's like a 4v or like a PvE shooter or whatever. What was that one that came out? Quarantine?
Yeah, right. I think that was called Quarantine, and then it got renamed, right? I can't remember now. Some people like that game. Most people, I think, just forgot it existed, like we are doing right here, right now.
Exactly. Wow, jumping from 5% ownership in the company. I was just quickly trying to look up who else Tencent is invested in, and it's
everybody.
It's everybody.
It's everybody.
I'm on this list. What?
It's that scene from True Romance. It's Gary Oldman going, everyone. Yeah, there you go. Tencent, this is their strategy. This would not change, I think, the DNA of how Ubisoft approaches making games for the most part. Ubisoft's going to have to kind of continue to be Ubisoft for this to make sense. But that's fine with Tencent. Tencent actually, people are always worried Tencent's going to come in and change the culture. And maybe they do that if they acquire you wholesale. But even in those cases, we haven't seen that. The Chinese business strategy of investment mostly involves making a lot of investments, as we can see with Tencent coming up in the news with these purchases constantly, and then standing back and just kind of waiting and not getting too involved, not being too hands-on. So, and if that gives, I think they would probably give a clear access strategy to Guillemot and just say, hey, we are going to, back out, and this new board of directors or this newly formed, board of directors or whatever can come in and decide a new CEO or something. But I don't know. It's not going to fundamentally change what to expect from Ubisoft anytime soon.
No. But it definitely gives the people up top an easy parachute out now, which is kind of infuriating because of I'd rather they just own up to
right. To get them out, it's like they are getting this double what their shares are worth right now. And there's no clear path forward for them to grow from 44 euro a share to 100 euro a share to actually make that make sense, other than this is the easiest way for Tencent to get control by they want to have the controlling interest because I think that also gives them the pathway to like I said, they don't want to control the day-to-day decisions, but I think they do want to own more and more Ubisoft all the time. And if they get Guillemot out of the way, it makes it very easy for them to acquire more and more shares and have more and more of Ubisoft. Maybe there is a long-term play here where if they are looking for Tencent's making that handheld cloud streaming thing with Logitech, if they are looking to have exclusive content for that stuff, I mean, maybe it goes that way. I just don't know how interested Tencent is in locking down content that it acquires from other studios onto platforms away from the audiences that have normally engaged with Ubisoft games. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Tactics Ogre Reborn has finally been announced. We made it happen, everybody. After a million leaks, this thing has finally seen the light of day. Let's go. I'll play this trailer while we read a little bit of the details. This is based on the 2010 release. The game features improved graphics and sound, as well as updated game design, bringing to life a new Tactics Ogre that remains true to its roots. It's actually Reutz. Tactics Ogre veterans will experience a game that surpasses their fondest memories, while players new to Tactics Ogre will discover a game unlike any they've ever played. Reborn and deeper than ever, the game enables players to immerse themselves in the world and intrigue of Tactics Ogre like never before. So, yeah, here it is. It's coming. It's coming to Switch, PlayStation, and Steam. Not coming to Xbox, but it is coming to PS4 and PS5. I'm not too surprised by that. I think this looks great. This looks pretty good. It's got a little, it's got a little bit of that, like Super Eagle, like smushing together the pixels look that you get in an emulator every once in a while. How do you feel about that?
Totally. Yeah, it does look a little smoother. Like someone ran this through like a Facetune app in certain bits. And the portraits kind of look also crunched, but they're still high res. Either way, I am super jazzed because if this is coming, this means I might finally get FFT and FFTA. And also it was, I always like the Tactics Ogre series. I always felt like it was a little bit more adult than what I was ready for as a child.
Right.
And now, as like a 30-year-old, and I'm over the hill now because I'm a grown man. I can play the grown tactics.
This is another one from that list, the NVIDIA list, right? The Tactics Ogre Reborn. I mean, obviously we knew this was coming after all these leaks, but it's like, okay, here it is. And now that it's coming out, and like once we get past it, it's like, all right, what's next on that list that we're going to get? Final Fantasy Tactics Remake is what it's called. I think that's what they're saying. So what does that look like? Final Fantasy 9 Remake? What is that? Every time I bring up Final Fantasy 9 Remake, I get yelled at because I'm like, well, maybe it'll be like the remaster like they do with the 7-8. They've already done that with 9, of course. So maybe they are doing something more and extra. I mean, that's what the NVIDIA leak says, and the NVIDIA leak has had so many games that we've now seen the light of day. It's hopeful. But Tactics Ogre Reborn, I'm excited, except it does look like one of those things just kind of mostly run through filters, and that's a little disappointing to me. But whatever. I'm actually kind of there for the gameplay and the tactics itself, and hopefully Reborn just means that that it has a good pace. You can get right into it, and they deliver all the story relatively quickly and stuff like that. And you can skip things when you want to. I hope so.
From what I remember from the 2010 game that this is a remaster of, there was a lot of grinding.
Right.
That they supposedly took care of, but I feel like that's par for the course. But maybe they've just streamlined some aspects.
Yes, exactly, and that's probably what they've done here. I think that's what they're implying by saying it's like the Reborn. So we'll see. We'll get a chance to get our hands on it, and we'll figure it out for ourselves. Okay. Koch Media. Let's see if this beeps even. Media is now. It's now Plaion is the new name. Now that's spelled Plaion. Let's just get into it. This comes from Mike Minotti at GamesBeat. Koch Media is actually how I think you're supposed to say it, but you're supposed to say it with a German accent. So it's Koch. Koch Media announced today that it is changing its name. You just yell. That's how you do German accents. Just yell. You just yell. It's named to Plaion, which is pronounced Plaion. The German-Austrian media company started in 1994. It owns gaming studios like Saints Row publisher Deep Silver. It became a subsidiary of Embracer Group in 2018. But why the change? Plaion Vice President of Global Sales and Marketing Frank Weber told GamesBeat that it's been brewing for a while. The more international, the more global we got as a company, the more clear it was from a pure phonetic point of view that our name wasn't ideal internationally.
Many people are recalling us Koch Media.
We don't want to be a Koch. We were changing drastically as a company. We grew rapidly. Today, we're producing our own content much more, which is something we hadn't done initially. At the same time, we have a lot of partners and a lot of, let's say, people who deliver content to us. We help them bring that to market, bring them to players. This is such a big change that we felt it's now really time to change. Also, the name, and to become more what we are from a branding and naming perspective. And it's like even on, they said internally, even honestly, sometimes in internal conversations or negotiations, we pronounced it Koch Media, even though we know it should be more like Koch. Okay, wow, okay, so it's not even Koch, it's Koch. It's Koch. No, it's a GH. I'm not, it's Koch in German. Yeah, you want to try it?
Wait. Okay, this word to me, it's
Koch.
spelled K-A-U-G-H, which is supposed to be the phonetic,
Koch.
right?
Yeah.
Why? Now I just want to say it like laugh, so it's like calf.
Calf. Calf Media.
Calf Media.
There are so many ways you could say this name. Even we use Koch as a name, so Plaion is much easier going forward. That they also know this was not mandated by Embracer Group. Embracer Group's just like, no, we love our Koch. I'm sorry, everybody.
I bet you that a portion of the Koch Media team would go to a bar, and then the bartender would be like, "There's those cock boys."
A bunch of
for
cocks
happy
just
hour.
walked in here. Yeah. All right. Let's serve up these cocks. All right. Okay. Nikkei reports there will be no new Nintendo hardware this fiscal year. Excerpted by Takashi Mochizuki on Twitter. Shout out to him. He picked this out of Nikkei. There will be no new Nintendo hardware this fiscal year, which ends in March 2023. He said it's not immediately clear whether that part of the article is from Nikkei's own reporting or what Nintendo president who Nikkei interviewed for the story said. The story is pay gated, and I was trying to check in on it, but basically this is like what everyone is kind of saying who's been able to read it, that it's not clear, but that's what the Nikkei is reporting. It also lines up, I think, mostly with what I expected. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like planning like another revision for this year, but they were probably never going to launch a Switch 2 or Switch Pro before March. Are you like, where are you at with like needing a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro, Jan?
The only reason I feel like I would need a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro is that I would just like to play first-party Nintendo games better. Like, I'm loving Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but there's a part of me that's like, this could look better somewhere else. This could play a little smoother somewhere else, and I can't change any graphical options to make this more like butter.
Yeah.
And that's all I want. But if Nintendo suddenly decided to pull a Sony and just put some of their games on PC, which I guess a couple of games have gone, but I guess they weren't first party, like Astral Chain,
Monster Hunter, I don't, is Astral Chain on PC? I don't know if it is. Monster Hunter Rise is like obviously not, like you said, not first party, but that's like a big Switch game that now you can play it on PC and just see the difference, the world of difference, whether you're playing on the Steam Deck or like a really powerful PC. It's a pretty big difference. But yeah, like it'd be nice if we could just kind of like, the Switch is old. I mean, there's no way around it. It's old. It's old. It was old when it launched a little bit, and now it's like it's much older now. Now that we're 5.5 years later. That said, they are expecting to, like, and they said this in their earnings report earlier this week. We talked about it on the show. They're expecting to sell 21 million Switch units this year, and that's like that. That almost feels like they're going to do that if like supply chain issues aren't an issue, which they have been, especially in this last quarter. It was especially bad in this last quarter for them. Chances are they might even sell more than that if they can get enough units into the supply chain. So it was very unlikely they were going to displace that or disrupt that with something else. So that begs the question, like, when are you expecting the next Switch hardware?
God, I'm thinking about like the casual folks that are picking up a Switch just for Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing looks and runs fine, Ring Fit, runs fine, looks fine. Smash runs fine, looks fine. Mario
Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, games that you would not notice any performance issues with. Yeah,
like their tentpole stuff, I feel like you don't feel the effects of as much because you know they're utilizing the tools properly. feel like maybe Splatoon 3 might be one of the first games to challenge that.
Right. Maybe it's right there on that bubble of them, like maybe having ambitions that go a little bit above and beyond what the Switch can handle. Yeah.
So honestly, I don't really see one until very late last year or 24, honestly. Like, I feel like they're going to keep pushing it until the wheels fall off. And then after the wheels fall off, they're just going to drag it for like as long as they can.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to nail this down. I think specifically because I bet it's pretty fluid inside of Nintendo. I say there was no way they were going to launch it this year. I bet there was like a plan some time ago, like, yeah, we could maybe launch something by March of 2023. Like, I bet there was like a scrapped plan on the floor, and then they're like, well, with supply issues and with the system continuing to sell so well, that doesn't make sense. But that changes over time. And I bet they're still trying to nail down exactly what that looks like. And every time we bring this up, it's like, I bet they are also trying to figure out like how to pull off a transition like this, where they are likely going to want to maintain as much momentum as possible, which is not something they've really done much before, except for maybe with Game Boy Color and like then the revisions to the DS and the 3DS and things like that. And it's like, so do they try to, is that why a Switch Pro is maybe still in the cards? Because they're going to like maybe treat it as maybe effectively it is a Switch 2, but they want to treat it as a successor to the same platform, so they can make people feel like, well, hey, all your games are going to keep working, keep buying games the same way you have been, because that's really the fuel that powers this entire juggernaut, is how many games everyone is buying. So we'll see. Valve is expanding Steam Deck sales to Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Valve has announced that it's opening up Steam Deck reservations for customers in Japan and South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Steam Deck will begin shipping by the end of the year in these regions. This is possible because Valve said it has increased production. It also noted that the reservation queue for the new regions will not impact delivery estimates for the current reservation process in North America, Europe, and the UK. Jan, to me, this continues like to say they are really ramping up production. This thing has been very successful. It's probably one of the best selling gaming computers of all time here, coming up pretty soon. I would imagine. Like, you'd like just think about like a gaming computer in terms of a product. Those things, maybe a good one sells 500,000 units because you have a million options, right? This thing's probably going to get there pretty soon, right?
Honestly, I was walking through a Costco last night, and then I was just looking at all these gaming PCs, and then I was thinking, like, a lot of my friends are PC illiterate and would not know what to do once, like, not know what to do with like anything PC, like maintenance wise related. I feel like as soon as like something like a Steam Deck becomes readily available at like a Costco, that stuff is gonna ship like
absolutely
gangbusters.
I think it's in Best Buy at the very least by the end of this year. I think it's
oh man,
this holiday. I think they get into Best Buy. I don't know if it'll be in every store, but I think they're going to partner with like one retailer. I think Best Buy does make the most sense. I think when people think about going to buy like a Meta, an Oculus, Facebook, Meta Quest thing, whatever it is, I think they're like, oh, I'll just go. They have those at Best Buy, right? I think they're going to do the same thing with the Steam Deck, and I think it's going to work.
Yeah. I mean, like, seeing so many folks during the holidays last year pick up an Oculus at like a Best Buy, you're right, or like other big box retailers, and just it being an easy purchase to do there. I could see the same thing for the Steam Deck as soon as it's readily available everywhere. And I'm interested to see what this has, how this influences like the Asian markets, because of like, the Switch being so prevalent over there.
Right. But like free to play PC gaming is also pretty big in a lot of those markets. I mean, South Korea, this could be huge there if there's like a certain kinds of free to play PC games that make a lot of sense on Steam Deck. Yeah, that could really work.
Yeah, and if this makes more games deck compatible from the get go, or like increases motivation to make deck compatible games, then hell yeah.
I think we're at a point where we just saw, we could talk about this right now. Spider-Man is deck verified. Insomniac Games just confirmed this yesterday on Twitter. I wasn't sure about this because they hadn't said anything up to this point. Like, they haven't confirmed it, and it was like, whatever. When it comes out, I'll try to play it. But they had not mentioned that. And there was another game that's coming. Oh, they haven't even announced it. Returnal, inside of like the thing that people are able, like on the Steam database, they were saying, oh, it's getting Steam Deck like verified and stuff in there.
Oh no!
Right? Yeah. This is
I don't need
time to go back to Returnal, Jan.
I don't need to play that game again, but I kind of want to play that game again.
What if the mouse and keyboard though? That to me sounds so tasty.
Shoot.
That sounds so good. But Marvel Spider-Man Remastered is also Steam Deck verified now. And it's like, I think that when you get big developers from a company like PlayStation making announcements that Steam Deck, like you are making the efforts to make it Steam Deck verified, it's not just an afterthought. This is something that is happening before the game is out. You want to make sure it's done, and it's got 21,000 likes. Clearly, the Steam Deck has become this marketing lightning rod, if nothing else, and I think that's because Valve is likely sharing the numbers, saying people who get a Steam Deck buy a lot of games, and I think that's happening.
Totally. The fucking number of, sorry for cussing. We can cuss on the show.
Yeah. How many times do we say Koch Media, right? Come on.
Excuse me, Jeff. It's Koch Media.
Koch Media. There you go. Same thing.
Yeah. The number of games I've bought on Steam since getting the deck has just like jumped dramatically. And I like the idea that somewhere in Seattle, Gabe just pounded his fist on his desk. Goes, "Give me that Spider-Man."
Get me a verification of the Spider-Man.
Make it work on the deck.
All right. LG has partnered with Google to offer 3 months of Stadia Pro with LG TVs. This is from Reset Era. Yeah, that's the face right there, Jan. Heads up, if you own a compatible LG TV and are in a supported country, this is available to new and existing Pro subscribers, even though the press release states new subscribers only. If you've never signed up for Pro, you automatically get 1 month free from Google. And with this stacking on top of that, that'll make it 4 months. Oh my God, I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Okay, no, we're good. We're good.
Man.
Yeah, don't hold in your sneezes, everybody. LG, okay, this is fine. I guess the reason I really put this in here is Stadia still making moves, or do you think this is like a vestige of previous discussions that sort of just met their natural conclusion and therefore we're getting it now?
Yeah, I think it's more so the latter, that like these conversations were already had, and then now it's just a make good in fulfilling a some type of contract. Because Jesus, I can't imagine, and not to disparage anyone working at Stadia, I can't imagine a TV company trying to fill out their smart app catalog looking to go with Stadia versus something like Game Pass or xCloud.
Unless Google was paying a lot of money, but everything we've heard is that Google is like no longer doing those kinds of deals, right? So for Stadia, I suppose this is why it's so weird. We talked about this yesterday. I talked about this with Lucy, where like you hear the stories about Stadia is coming to an end, and Google comes out and says no, it's not. And I think, with these stories, this has happened when I've made my reporting about stuff like Roller Champions and stuff. Like, look for the space where both things are true, because it's such a messy situation, and there probably are people who are actively working on these things to keep them going and make them make sense for the future. And Stadia is probably transforming and not really ending. But the Stadia, as we know it, many of the probably the features and stuff that they promised, and the features that are actively working right now are probably going to come to an end and quietly go away. But yeah, right, for now, it's like, hey, if you still want to try the tech, I guess you have an LG TV.
Yeah,
go for it. I guess.
I mean, like, I don't know how much I'm clamoring for to get a cloud gaming app on my smart TV, but then again, I'm barely using the smart TV capabilities in my TV versus like it's like a set-top box, like an Apple TV and shit.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I got the NVIDIA Shield.
I keep cussing. I'm sorry.
Listen, I fucking love it, Jan. You know I do. Amazon's Luna game streaming service arrives on Samsung 22 smart TVs and monitors. Jan, how much are you into Amazon Luna?
I often forget that this service exists.
Yeah, I covered it. I got an Amazon Luna controller around here somewhere. I've played it a few times. When I need to test something on the projector over there in the other room, I often end up just on Amazon Luna. It's an interesting concept. I think it's a smarter concept than Stadia. What they were doing is, on like Amazon Prime Video, you could subscribe to like channels. Like I subscribe to like Shudder through Amazon Prime, and I got all these horror movies, and you could subscribe to Showtime, or you could subscribe to PBS Kids and stuff like that. They have all these options on top of what is offered in Prime Video proper. Amazon Prime was doing that, or Amazon Luna was doing the same thing, where like there is an Amazon Luna proper, but then you could subscribe to the Ubisoft channel for $5 a month, and then you get all these Ubisoft games. And it made a lot of sense in terms of like, this is probably the way to do something like this instead of what Stadia was doing, which was we're just going to sell you games and we're Google, so we're going to shut this down eventually, and it doesn't make any sense actually. So it's a good idea, but I just don't. Yeah, okay. I guess making it more available can only help, and maybe it like moves the needle 2% at a time. I just feel like if you are Amazon, this is the kind of thing that has come and gone, and almost no one ever talks about Luna. And I'm not sure these are the deals that are going to be the answer to it. But that said, it's not like this is hurting anything either, right?
Right. And, there's probably the off chance that a relapsed gamer is going to fire up and notice that the notification that, hey, you have free Amazon Luna has not gone away on their TV anytime they turn it on. So, that'll get baby's handful of folks to at least try it out.
Yeah. The baby's handful of people who will then connect a video game controller to their TV, which I still think is like, that is the biggest hassle, I think. Like, it's so easy to download an app, but it's like, I got to go find a controller, and like, does it have a Bluetooth? And how do I even turn Bluetooth on my TV? And I just think that convinces so many people to get off on the exit instead of actually sticking with it.
Yeah.
But your baby's handful. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Resident Evil's Wesker, Ada, and Rebecca are joining Dead by Daylight. Resident Evil's Jill Valentine, Leon S. Kennedy, and the titular Nemesis from Resident Evil 3 Nemesis were already part of the cast. This comes from Cass Marshall at Polygon, by the way. They were added in the first Resident Evil crossover chapter, which also included Raccoon City Police Department map. This chapter was successful enough to earn a second crossover called Project W, which includes Ada Wong and Rebecca Chambers as survivors, while Albert Wesker serves as the newest killer. I'm like, okay, so just gonna be running from Albert Wesker in this one. All right, that's fantastic. Are you gonna spend any time in Dead by? Is this our other Fortnite that we've missed out on? Because this game's very popular and also has like every crossover imaginable.
I mean, until John Cena comes into it, maybe not.
John Cena, the greatest horror villain of all time, absolutely. Just will not stop. Hustle, loyalty, and respect you to death.
He's just gonna 5-knuckle shuffle you to death.
That's right. Well,
I wish this was. I wish they also gave me the option for Lance Reddick, Albert Wesker.
Sure,
and then
absolutely.
he'd just be like nothing but a very polite man, just slowly walking towards me. I can't say that this is going to entice me to check out Dead by Daylight.
I mean, if you weren't there for the other Resident Evil people, then probably not. But it's like Resident Evil fans, right? Probably pretty happy about this. Ada Wong's a fan favorite.
Yeah, there's a lot of people horny for both of those people.
Absolutely. Rebecca Chambers. I remember when Resident Evil 0 was coming out, a lot of talk about how Rebecca Chambers had a donk-a-donk. So...
Just like a Pixar mom. Sorry.
Multiversus Season 1 and Morty have been delayed. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. In a thread posted by the official Multiversus Twitter account, it was announced that the planned launch of Season 1 on August 9th, and with the addition of Morty from Rick and Morty as the next playable character, has been held back to an unconfirmed date. This is the quote: "We want to let everyone know that we are delaying the start of Season 1 and the release of Morty to a later date. We'll let you know the timing as soon as we can. We appreciate your patience and enthusiasm and look forward to unveiling Season 1 very soon." It added, "Due to the Season 1 delay, we will be extending the preseason Battle Pass till August 15th, and the end date noted in-game will not change, but the Battle Pass will continue after August 8th through the 15th. So, listen, this game is massive. It's so huge. It has a lot of momentum right now that it can withstand a couple of delays for content, right?
Oh, yeah. I think the folks that are rapidly checking out Multiverses are satiated with what is going on there. I feel like everything I've heard is that the meta is all messed up. Bugs Bunny's too powerful right now, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I've always said that.
Yeah, that I feel like this team is probably more prepared to roll out characters at an even pace similar to Nintendo. But, we can wait for Morty. It still bothers me that Morty and Rick are not a pair together.
Right. Yeah. They do that. Like Tom and Jerry are a pair, and like the way that they work together is pretty good. But it's like, I wonder if like maybe they ran out of ideas for like pairing up people, because they also have like the Powerpuff Girls, who I think are going to be a trio later and stuff. Like, so they're doing a lot of that kind of stuff. And that's interesting. But
I mean, it makes sense for LeBron, because LeBron's a lone wolf. Doesn't like to pass the ball.
All he needs is his basketball, and that's his main weapon, and that's how it works in the game. Jan, what the fuck is a preseason battle pass?
I don't know.
Weird combination of words right there.
I don't like the idea of a battle pass in general, even though I'm thinking about buying the Fortnite one.
Of course.
Almost bought the Fall Guys one.
Very weak. Yep. I think I did buy it. Absolutely. I think I did buy the Fall Guys one. Yeah.
Yeah. Culver, I think, says it in our chat. That's just the battle pass with extra words. I think they just really they're noticing that so many people are playing this game that they need to start charging some type of money. And it's like, hey, these people are going to keep playing until season 1. Let's just get a battle pass going.
Yep.
Get that BP.
Yeah, this game's out, available. You can play it now. It's just like season 1 of content. Like, we're in preseason content, which I think just means it's what it launched with. And then Morty was always going to be like the season 1 launch for people who are like wondering like what the specifics of all this are. But basically, you can go play this game right now and figure it out for yourself. It's free, and everyone else is playing it. So yeah, why don't you get in on the action?
Maybe we should stream this as a group.
Yeah, we should have a multiverse. I'm actually doing some playing with my community this Friday, so I've been practicing a little bit. We should get together and have like a lobby going and play some of that.
Who is the main Grubb?
I've been trying to go with Fen. I think because I like that he like. There's various classes. There's like tanks and stuff like that. Fen is an assassin, and I'm like, I think I need that power to like knock people off to make this game feel right. Although Shaggy as like the tutorial character, pretty good as well. Like I think you can do good things with Shaggy.
Maybe we should have a Multiversus open sort of thing.
Maybe. Now we have to. Let's get this going. Let's get this set up. This sounds like a good time. I would legit like practice for that. That would be fun. All right, let's get to the catch up. We're going to talk about what everyone else is talking about right now, but I want to start with just kind of give you a little update on what people are playing on the Steam Deck over the last week to kind of people spend, hundreds of dollars on this thing. That's like, oh, you can finally play AAA games on the go as opposed to like the Switch, which really struggles. And what are they playing? Multiversus #1, Vampire Survivors #2, and Stray #3. Like, but Vampire Survivors, absolutely, it's such a good game to play on handheld. But it's just very funny to play this like little this game that like can run on anything basically, and just like have it on your Steam Deck. After Stray, we have Elden Ring. No surprise. No Man's Sky, very popular, and this is ordered by average daily active users according to Steam and Valve. No Man's Sky, then Hades, Stardew Valley, Grand Theft Auto 5, Aperture Desk Job, and then Monster Hunter Rise is number 10.
Wow. And I think Monster Hunter Rise technically isn't Steam Deck verified yet.
Right. Yes. Right. It's like, is it the question mark, or is it like not even? I think it might be like one of that in between.
I want to say it's like it's like the yellow. It's like this might work.
Yes. Right. Okay. Right. But you could do some tweaks to that game and get it running pretty good. I know that Jason has done exactly that and spent a lot of time with that game on Steam Deck. So
it is making me regret investing. Well, I didn't invest as much time on the Switch version as other folks have. But like, it's 20 hours on the Switch version. Never going to get back.
Yep, and you can't like transfer any of that stuff. No cross progression there.
Yeah, but my dog looks so much better on the Steam Deck,
which is what's really important. All right, Jan, I put this here because I have some questions for you. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's terrestrial phenomenon could forever change Pokemon hunting. This comes from Anna Diaz at Polygon. I'm going to read some of these bits, but I want to get your take. So
I can translate if needed.
Thank you. The mechanic could get the shiny collecting community ablaze, or could set the shiny collecting community ablaze. First, let's go over what terrestrializing is. It is the thing where Pokemon can have a terrestrializing power. You can activate it. And actually, you know what? I got a trailer we can play here and just kind of show it off. It is something you can activate during battles to basically, as far as I understand, change the fundamental type of a Pokemon. Some of the examples they showed were Pikachu changing from electric type to flying type, and Eevees turning both Eevees turning both water and grass type to a water and grass type after terrestrializing. And you can see like it makes you all shiny and diamond like in here.
They get fun hats.
They get fun hats, like plants and trees and flowers sticking off their head. Jan, just based on that alone, is that an exciting twist on the gameplay for you?
Oh, yes. This is incredibly messed up because I think specifically this will have an impact for 1v1 or like a single Pokemon battlers.
Right.
because a lot of that game is just based off of like adapting to your opponent and just strategically switching in and out, letting certain Pokemon take a hit. And if you can terrestrialize a Pokemon and suddenly they are a radically different type than what you're used to, that can mess up your whole flow. Like I know Dynamaxing had a tremendous impact on competitive Pokemon from the last gen because suddenly priority is different for stuff like speed. Certain Pokemon are now much more likely to be able to take a hit. I don't think they've announced how many turns this will last, or if it's the rest of the match type of thing. And then other stuff like there was a move in that exists in Pokemon. It's called Hidden Power, and depending on your nature of your Pokemon, it can have a different elemental effect. So Pikachu could be using like a ground type hidden power. I don't think he can actually do that. That's just an example. And then folks would have to watch out for Pokemon running hidden power. I feel like this could. I kind of like the implications that this can have, because you could be suddenly messed up by an Eevee because you were expecting it to roll one way, but it's a different way. And I guess this adds just like a lot more fun complications and combinations to competitive Pokemon, because you can be like, yo, what is that Pikachu doing? Is that just like a regular Pikachu, or is that going to be a flying Pikachu and mess my stuff up?
Right. And I think it's just like, and specifically, like you said, it's like the competitive community, the people who have played the entire game and now are in the end game, which is like, hey, I'm going to be looking for specific Pokemons to help build up my team for when I'm facing other players. Anna Diaz says you might be facing a Pokemon like Pikachu's type you've known your entire life, but the terrestrial phenomenon casts its type into question, leaving you guessing if the matchup you've chosen is strong or weak against your opponent. It's like it feels more like a fighting game, right? Like where you're feinting and you are trying to draw your opponent in to doing one move, so then you can actually do your counter move, and that's like inherently more interesting. I've heard a lot of people basically describing what you're describing, like that is exciting. Yeah,
and like the other bonus to this is that I was reading this because I just love the nitty gritty statistical info. There's something in Pokemon called Stab, which stands for same type attack bonus. So if Pikachu is an electric type and uses an electric type move, that damage is just incrementally, just ever so slightly a little bit stronger versus if Pikachu used a normal type move.
Right.
Apparently, if you terrestrialize a Pokemon and it stays the same type, it adds an additional bonus on top of Stab, which is like, all right, now this like if like a Pokemon is a fighting type and terrestrializes to still a fighting type and uses a fighting type move, that is almost guaranteed an instant KO if it's super effective.
That is exciting.
So it's super duper effective.
Yeah, it's like, there's like a lot of different things you could do with this, and like that is that's feinting in it the other way. Like they might expect you to be doing something different, so they might overthink it, and you're like, no, I'm still going electric type. This gets me excited. I'm like, I remember hearing stuff like Dynamax and Z moves or whatever, and I think they never stay around, right? They never stick around. Like they don't come from game to game. Will you like, if this works out how you're hoping, do you expect them to like maybe incorporate this into Pokemon games going forward, or is this going to get left behind as well?
I feel like this might be another gimmick that gets left behind. I feel like, the online Pokemon community that plays Pokemon Showdown, which is like a web-based online battler, they have modes where they'll combine all of this stuff, but I don't see them including everything unless it's like a late game type of thing, because they're so adamant about mentioning like, oh, Dynamaxing is a phenomenon only to the Galar region. And now I bet they are saying, and I think they are saying, that terrestrializing is something that only happens in the Paldean region. So I think it still will be isolated to this generation, unless they eventually want to make their mega game where it has everything, right, and you can do all this, and that kind of sounds fun just to see
the Pokemon MMO we've been hearing about for the last 25 years. That eventually will happen, right?
Yeah. Also, though, like on top of this messing up the shiny community, this is gonna mess up the Pokemon collecting community. Because you know those crystal stores in the mall that you never go to? Now they're going to be filled with Pokemon.
Oh no. And then the lady's gonna be like, this one, it's gonna heal your chakra, and which I need after watching 18 episodes of Naruto. Just to touch on that, Anna Diaz kind of like clarifies the terrestrial phenomenon will likely also impact Pokemon collecting with 18 types in total. The addition of new forms creates an astronomically large roster of possible Pokemon combinations for enthusiasts to chase after. A shiny hunter, a kind of Pokemon fan who chases after the special, rare, shiny forms of Pokemon, might decide to chase after not just regular Eevee and shiny Eevee, but also the shiny forms of the water type and grass type terrestrial forms of Eevee as well.
Oh, man.
In the trailer, developers explain that trainers will also will be able to get rarer terrestrial Pokemon by doing Terra raid battles, but this mechanic potentially requires collectors to commit an immense amount of grind.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, the interesting thing, Grubb, like all these competitive Pokemon players, people are at the top of the chain, they have folks getting Pokemon for them.
Ooh, of course they do. They got their minions. Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah, like
their
whole Discords set to like Pokemon breeding is still a major thing where
Lucy told me about it yesterday. Don't worry.
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, not that type of breeding. And it's whole cottage industries actually of like, hey, you want this you want this legendary Groudon, you want it to be this type with this nature and these IVs, and you want it to be shiny? I got you. I'll lend it to you. And then the other thing that is messed up, Grubb, is that they're not just regular shinies, they're also square shinies. So the particle effects that pop off, normally it's like little sparkles. They're also square sparkles.
Oh my god.
And also there was you remember that teacup Pokemon that came out in Sword and Shield?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
There is
that like little fucker. Yeah, absolutely.
That little fucker, the ghost cup boy.
Yeah.
There is a variation of that Pokemon that has like a specific a pattern on the teacup that is incredibly rare.
Oh my god.
And does not count as a shiny. So
wow.
This is further going to mess up these sickos that want to fill out their Pokedex, and
yes.
I support these sickos.
Yes, you do. You chase your bliss out there. Get your
my god, the
square sparkles, My Little Pony.
The other thing that I just thought about that this added that I'm wondering is because Pokemon Legends Arceus added the alphas, right? So that's like the bigger versions of normal Pokemon. Yeah. I'm wondering if alphas are still going to be in this thing. So are you going to have a big crystal boy?
An alpha crystal square sparkle teacup design shiny. Yeah.
Oh,
that terrestrializes in 7 different ways. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Astronomically large. Thank you for that, Anna Diaz. And thank you, Jan, for running through all of that. Are you excited about Scarlet and Violet?
I don't know.
After all that, I don't even know, right? Yeah.
Like after all that, I don't know. Mostly because like you enlightened me to this in the chat yesterday when I was talking over the Pokemon stream. If you want to see Sleepy Me, go check that out.
Watch that, everybody. It's fun.
Still no voice acting. Why add voice acting to the trailer if it's not going to be in the game?
That brings us to the poll. Let's just do it. Let's get into it. Yesterday, will a mainline Pokemon game have full voice acting within the next 5 years? Very few people believe this is going to happen. 1 in 5, 20%, 20.1% say yes, 79.9% say no. Jan, I also got, listen, I'm not a huge Pokemon person.
Sure.
I'm not a shiny Pokemon fan. But I tune in here and there. I would assume that, like, for the most part, people are like, yeah, we would like voice acting. That's the next logical step. It seems like a lot of people are saying it shouldn't ever have Pokemon or voice acting. One person said Pokemon games teach kids to read, which I'm like, well, their parents should be doing that. That's not a reason not to have voice acting. But like, okay, fair enough. But a lot of other people are just like, no, the games are better without voice acting. But you seem to want it. I mean, do you think it'll ever really happen? Obviously, it's not happening here. And what do you think people don't want it? I mean, maybe people check and say why as well. But I mean,
I am of the camp that I have absolutely no idea why no one would want it. And I mean, if you don't want it, I'm sure it would be a slider that you can turn off.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And I don't think the Pokemon company is hurting for money to help fund getting
no way.
Voice acting talent,
Yep.
whether middle of the road or top tier, like my boy Matt Shipman. Pokemon, just send this to Matt Shipman's way. Him and his wife, they'll voice everyone. It feels like a no-brainer, or at least I think Lucy mentioned this yesterday, just like that, like just that type of speech. And there are a lot of folks that are still tied to the Pokemon's digital growls that go
sure, yes, the MIDI cries, as we decided yesterday. Yeah,
versus like just let them say their names or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you already have those existing assets for the shows across the board, and like Pokemon has been translated into how many different languages for the anime. Just take all that. Just take all those sandbanks. Take those waves. I'm sure you have to do a couple of like legal jumping around, but y'all can fucking swing it. Y'all can do this. You see that the Pokemon CEO's jacket game?
Yeah,
over the course of the time.
One of the most GQ looking motherfuckers I've ever seen, just running a Pokemon stream. That guy, like, spend some of that fashion money on a voice acting budget. I think is my opinion.
Yeah.
They could pull this off if they wanted to. It's obviously just a like, well, we don't have to kind of thing.
It's one of those things where I feel like we won't see it in like a mainline Pokemon game made by Game Freak, but if we get something like a weird offshoot, like, I don't know, Gale of Darkness from the GameCube, where there's more work to certain aspects of the game, then perhaps they would throw voice acting there.
Whenever I hear Gale of Darkness, I just imagine a woman named Gale who's just very tempestuous and scary. But
has not gone out of her emo phase.
Yes, not gone out of her emo phase, exactly. And she rules. She rules. But yeah. I don't know. 5 years. You said probably 8, and I don't know if you were joking when I asked that, but like, really, do you think within 10 years we get a mainline Pokemon game with voice acting? If like it's led by one of these offshoots first?
Yeah, I think within 10 years. 5 years, I don't know why that doesn't feel doable.
Yeah, 10 years, anything is possible, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 10 years for sure. I think that's why I said 8, because it's like it's going to be a little bit past 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like there's the Detective Pikachu games for the, I think it was 3DS or DS. 3DS. I don't know if it was completely voice acted, but it was voice acted by like a Danny DeVito, like really gruff sounding guy to beat Pikachu.
Fantastic stuff. I never played those games. Did the second one ever come out? Was there a second one that came out?
No, I think it's still in development, or it's in limbo. Maybe they're waiting for Ryan Reynolds to think of a new Detective Pikachu movie.
Yeah, they're just waiting for Ryan, of course. All right, here's the poll for tomorrow. Over under. So I want your over under vote, and that'll be what we add here. Nintendo launches the Switch follow-up, a Pro or Switch 2, by December 25th, 2023. Are you going to take the over there or the under? So do you think it's going to come like November, fall of 2023, or do you think it's going to come like early 2024 at the earliest? So I'll give you over and under, and let's put Game of Smarties in here so I can find it tomorrow.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry to circle back. That's right. Pokemon Masters EX, the mobile game, is fully voice acted. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, Pokemon. You got them right there.
You could just do it. You could just take those waves and go.
Yes. Don't worry about lip flap. All right. Just make them go.
I mean, yeah, they have the lips flapping anyhow, and they're not saying anything. So just like put like some. You don't have to match it up. We're not looking that closely. We're still looking at how we're looking at Fido. We're looking at him running around. Like, that's a little piece of bread right there. I love him so much. Jan, what's happening on Giant Bomb for the rest of the day?
What is happening on Giant Bomb for the rest of the day? We had a Froggen quick look that Dan did solo dolo. That's out now, if you want to check that out. We did an Oops All Cena's Fortnite stream. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that.
It was a good time.
It's a good time. Abby Russell joined us. Abby, incredibly good at Fortnite, it turns out. Dan was on an episode of Albummer yesterday, and speaking about Albummer, we've got 2 of the Albummer crew joining us for the voicemail dump truck today.
Yeah,
I believe we got Jordan and Jeremy joining us. And then I think it's we got a quick look for 2 Point Campus going up tomorrow, and then UPF tomorrow as well. Perhaps should we say that there's something semi-special about that UPF?
We should.
Yes.
Let's do it right now. Let's commit right now because we've already made the plans. We're good. Let's say it.
Yes. So, to keep not reinventing UPF, but keeping it fresh, we are going to do a themed week, and the theme week of this week is 2002.
Now, here's a very important thing about a 2002 theme week UPF. If you were born around or after that, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. Oh my God. You keep that
Grubb,
out. You keep that out of chat.
Grubb, I was watching a skate video yesterday from 1996, and then someone commented like, "Oh man, I wasn't even near being born.
Oh my God. No,
and I just started skateboarding because of this video."
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I graduated from high school in 2001, so that's where I'm at, everybody. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna bring some 2002 games. We're gonna hang out.
Yes.
I've got some ideas. We've got some Dolphin Network play I'm gonna try to set up. We'll see. It's gonna be a good time. Until then, and until tomorrow's Game Mess mornings, have a good one, everybody. You're the best audience in gaming. I appreciate you. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.